It's Tuesday, April 30th, and the Eli Lilly and Company's Q1 2024 earnings call has just ended. So we thought we'd get right to you with some of our observations and the notes around how it can affect the GLP-1 community. Get ready for a roller coaster ride as Lilly, the pharmaceutical powerhouse, just dropped major news in their reports. In their latest report, Lilly has not only smashed their first quarter 2024 goals, but they've also upped the ante for the full year, raising revenue guidance by a whopping $2 billion. My name is Christopher Durham, and this is The Downsized. Please take a moment to like and subscribe. So first up, I wanted to read a quote from David A. Ricks, Lilly's chair and CEO. According to Ricks, Lilly's first quarter performance reflects solid year-over-year revenue growth with strong sales of Mounjaro and Zepbound. Our progress in addressing some of the world's most significant healthcare challenges has resulted in increased demand for our medicines. As we continue to make pipeline investments that position us for future growth, we are rapidly expanding manufacturing capacity to make our incretin medicines available to more patients. Let's look at the details, the numbers, and I'll read, honestly, this is from their press release, so I don't get it wrong, and then we'll do color commentary and give you some of my thoughts after that. In Q1 of 2024, worldwide revenue was $8.77 billion, an increase of 26% compared with Q1 2023, driven by increases of 16% in volume and 10% due to higher realized prices. The volume increases were primarily driven by growth from Mounjaro, Zepbound, Verzenio, and Jardiance, partially offset by declines in Trulicity. Strong demand for the company's incretin medicines outpaced supply increases. This is something we've all known. The company continues to expand manufacturing capacity with the most significant production increases in 2024 expected in the second half of the year. Higher realized prices were driven by Mounjaro in the U.S. as Mounjaro saw net positive pricing impacted by savings card dynamics compared with Q1 2023. In the second half of 2024, these savings card dynamics should cease to have a notable effect on realized price comparisons to base periods as the $25 non-covered benefit expired June 30th, 2023. New product revenue grew by $1.79 billion to $2.39 billion in Q1 2024, led by Mounjaro and Zepbound. So here's the breakdown of what you need to know. That was all the dense stuff. I hope you made it through that. As with all quarterly calls, they're talking to Wall Street. They're not talking to consumers. So let's talk about what you and I care about a little bit. Honestly, it's, Zepbound, Mounjaro. So their revenue was way up. They saw a staggering 26% increase in revenue driven by what we already knew, Mounjaro and Zepbound. Everything else, peanuts. They made a very passing mention of supply chain problems and waved it off. Basically, they said, we're building factories, we're doing our best, it's not going to impact our sales, it'll all be fine. However, they don't see the supply chain issues resolving themselves really until at least the end of the year and well into next year. There was absolutely no mention of vials for Zepbound or Mounjaro. Didn't come up. Was not part of the conversation, so I know there was a lot of interest in the community. There's no releasing the vials. They didn't even talk about it. It's not going to happen at this point in time. They gave a Zepbound launch update, which according to them has been an exceptionally strong launch. I don't think any of us are surprised by that. Since it was launched and approved by the FDA on November 8th of 2023, they said they're rapidly building access in the U.S., and as of April 1st, they have approximately 67% access in commercial, so 30% that don't have access. I don't know. Sounds like out of stocks to me. Continued focus on broadening the formulary access and through employer opt-ins. Early progress is encouraging, so they want to make sure they can get this out there to as many people as possible. They mentioned the sleep apnea studies and the cardiac studies and all the things they're working on. They also discussed their pipeline progress. They're not resting on their laurels. They're charging ahead with promising developments, including phase 3 trials for tirzepatide in obstructive sleep apnea. They've got 9 different trials for GLP-1s in process and all kinds of cool things. I'll actually flash the chart up here and you can take a look at it, and we'll leave a link in the description. They also discussed the approval of the multi-dose quick pen for delivery of Mounjaro in the EU. So in the EU, there's no Mounjaro Zepbound thing. It's all one brand. It's all Mounjaro. Basically, like the Ozempic Wegovy pen, you can twist it and have multiple doses in one pen. They discussed the regulatory submission for tirzepatide for chronic weight management. They're trying to get that through so they can get it covered more broadly, obviously open up more prescriptions. Lilly's not just hitting targets, though. They're aiming for, as far as they can go. Of course they are, and that's exactly what Wall Street wants them to do. They've raised their full-year revenue guidance by a staggering $2 billion and amped up their EPS guidance, projecting even more impressive numbers for the rest of the year. Basically, the numbers are great for them. The projections are great for them. Everything's up. They've got a good 6, 7, 8, 9 things in the pipeline that will add on to the GLP-1s, potentially better medications, potentially better growth in the obesity markets. Everything's looking up for them. If they can get their pipeline right, if they can get medications in the hands of their customers, their numbers will be great. I'm not convinced they really answered those questions, honestly, nor were they really hammered on those questions. So we'll see what happens. I would love to be able to, grab one of these Mounjaro or Zepbound pens and take it every month. As you know, right now we're doing compounded because we can't find it. Mark me a little skeptical on that, but I don't want to be. I'd like to see Eli Lilly do some really great things with these. So thank you very much for tuning in for this update on their quarterly call. My name is Christopher Durham, and this is The Downsized. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.